Hello everyone, I hope you're all having a perfect day. My name is RestingObject, or Michelle as many may know me as. This is, I know that you're probably wondering what the hell this is, but a pride thing. Because I didn't do anything last Pride, and I felt really bad because I didn't do anything this year, I decided to make a contribution to Pride Month. And I took a bunch of different sexualities and flag colors, and I put them into a little jumble. I will be explaining each of the characters quickly, hopefully, to explain my thought process behind each of them. So let's start off with the first one. Asexual. From my understanding, asexual means, asexual is a person who lacks sexual attraction, and asexual is someone who is not sexually attracted to anyone. Asexuals can be romantically attached to other people. For example, a biromantic asexual is someone who is not sexually active to anyone but is romantically attached to a male and females. Basically meaning it's someone who doesn't feel that I feel, on right now. Like, ooh girl, I want that. Let's I don't know what people say. I'm cringing right now. I struggled to figure out an animal that was asexual. So I did some research. The only thing I could find was fish and plants. But later on in the reel, you'll see that I've already chosen a fish, so I really couldn't do another fish. So I found out that these little guys, I don't know if it's true or not, but I saw this one on the thing, and he was colored, not like this, but he was colored, and he was in on this sort of like when I searched up asexual animals. So basically, he was the best I could figure out. And he doesn't seem like, he's gonna be, I chose him because I had nothing else to choose. This wasn't the best one to start off on. But I just saw it there, and I thought, oh, okay. Don't know if it's true or not, if someone would like to check that. I don't even know what these things are freaking called. I just know that this is one, and I don't know what it is, so. Anyways. The next one is a bisexual. And I know a few of the people who are like this, so hi, if you know me and this is, so hi! A bisexual is a sexual attracted not exclusively to people or one particular gender, attached to both men and female. So basically, a bisexual is a person who's attracted to both men and women, that they love both men and women. And I have a few buddies and pals who are like this, who are both attracted to, both men and women. It's not just one or the other. They can be, attracted to both. It's not like they have limitations on that. Now, I had done some research on gay animals. And I know it's funny, but it is actually known that giraffes will go back and forth from female to male. It has been seen in the wild that they do this. That they will go, and males will go female and male, and they will be gay and not gay. Same thing with female giraffes, which I was like, whoa, damn, that's cool. So I did a lot of research on the animals for some of them, but for a lot of them, I didn't know what to find, so the giraffe is one of those creatures that does that. Now, homosexual. In the sort of term that it is, a homosexual is a person who's attracted to one's same sex. So basically, if I was a female, I'd be attracted to a female. If I was a male, I'd be attracted to a male. If I was a non-binary, I would be attracted to a non-binary. If that's how it works. I don't know if that's how it works. I'm just saying. If we're talking apples to apples, if I was an apple, I would be into an apple, not an orange. You know what I mean? So, homosexual. It has been proven, now this has been proven, with with domestic sheep, they're more likely to be gay. It's weird, but they do that. Homosexual sheep, there are such things as this. They are domestically bred, and they become homosexual. And this has been proven that this does happen. So, I did a male sheep, with, you know, and he looks like like he's got like a giant like one of those big clown wigs, which is kind of not what I was going for, but he looks adorable. Now, for the next one. Now there's two of them. Now I have to explain the two of them is intersex. Now, intersex is a term that is used for a variety of conditions. A person born with a reproductive system or sexual anatomy that doesn't fit within the norm. The typical, not the, typical definition of female or male. Examples of this is that they are born with certain abnormalities with their genitalia or their body. There's something inside their bodies that just say, yeah, no, it's not going to be born properly. Doing a lot of research on this, I got a lot of diagrams, so I learned what it was. Now, this is where the characters come into play. Now I have a cow and a snake, and I'm going to explain how each of them represents, how they represent each of their own thing. Now you see, this is a female cow, correct? Well, it looks like a female cow. It's got boobs, it's got udder, but there's a thing. It's got horns. Now, I know that there are some species of cow and female cows that have horns, but in most cows I've seen, they don't have horns. They have flat heads. Only bulls have horns, so this is where she comes into play. There was also another part in her designing aspect that that she also has something else, but I'm not going to go into details about what that is. You can probably connect the dots. I'm going to move along. Now, this one was hard. I tried to figure out something that mixed with circles and also mixed with everything else. Now, it's a snake and it's got a large chest, and I get it. Snakes don't have that, but it's anthropomorphized, so there. You see, it's a female snake, but there's something that's very important. The way you can tell the difference between a male and a female snake is the end of their tail. Now, the end of a female snake's tail is that it's, thinner. Male snake's tail, try saying that 10 times fast. A male snake's tail is actually quite thicker and rounded off. That's why what appears to be a female snake has a male tail. And other things, but I'm not going to get into much detail about that because I don't want to be here all day. Lesbian. I've done some research on this topic as well. Now, a lesbian is a homosexual woman. That's the description for it. Lesbian is also used for women in relation to sexual identity or sexual behavior regardless of sexual orientation, or as an I can't read the definition because it sucks. Adjective to characterize or associate nouns with female homosexuality or same-sex attractions. Anyways, basically it's a woman who's attracted to another woman. Pretty straight if you haven't... I didn't realize that pun. Not pretty straightforward, pretty curved, gay forward, I guess. It's pretty, you get it. It's just the opposite. It's like, female gaze. That's what it means. And basically, her characterization was based off of a few things. I had searched up what the lesbian look was, and I had found that, this is also something I found with bisexual, because I had found this. Bisexual people have, weird hair design, like they'll have one side of their head shaved and the top of it sort of, part of it, really good. So that's why I did also the same thing with bisexual. I'll probably put that in there as a second footnote, but anywho, I'd done some research, and most lesbians are it was really weird. If I saw two lesbians together, it was this weird amalgamation of one had long hair and one has short hair. That was usually the case. However, I saw that more of them had short hair than long hair. So I decided to use this bob cut this cut that I had seen. Also, the scratches on her face. Let me explain that. You see, while doing research, I came across an article, and it made me just scrunch my face up with anger because it was horrible to hear the story. If you feel uncomfortable, you may want to skip ahead. I will see if I can figure out where you have to skip ahead to. It's really hard for me to figure out where the hell you have to skip ahead to. But trust me, I will, if you can, just if it's gonna make you uncomfortable, just maybe skip a little ahead until you hear me say done, and there'll be a big blue block on the screen so you know where to stop. So basically, the story goes like this. There was these couple who went on a train in Britain. And what ended up happening was, they were lesbian couple, and they had a long day, and they went on the bus. And the woman couldn't remember, but I think from the story, she ended up kissing her significant other. And a bunch of men saw this. They had approached them, and they started asking them to do it again. Like they were just, talking and becoming they were becoming goofballs, essentially. Being, silly and such. So the one woman tried to calm them down and, tried to spark up conversation and be all, nice about everything. But they insisted that they kissed again. And now at the beginning of the story, I was like, why the fuck? And I'm like, oh, you sick bastards. Because it just didn't click in my head. Why? And then I'm like, oh. So basically, this is what happened. They were demanding that they that they kissed again. And not just demanding, they were violent about it. They began to throw money at them. I'm like, what? As soon as I heard that, I was like, what? So they started to throw money at them, and then when they refused, they beat the shit out of them. The guys beat the shit out of the women, and I was just like, what the... And there was a picture to go along with it, with this poor woman who was all bloodied and got a broken nose and all this blood on her face, and I just, thought I'd add that to my character. So this one had a little more heart into it, I guess, I don't know, but that's sort of where it came from. Now, the next one, non-binary. Okay, I searched high and low for a non-binary thing. But the only thing I could find was a non-binary plant, meaning that they have no gender. So non-binary is a gender identity which is usually described as a gender. It basically means that it's neither female or male. It's just basically there's three types of non-binary. There's one where it's neither exclusively male or female. There's one that is in between. And then there's one that's beyond. It's very complicated, but non-binary is, to put it into short form, those are the three types of ones. If you have another, say for example, non-binary as another thing, put it in the comments below. But non-binary in the definition is three kinds of non-binary. Either you're in the middle of male and female, you're neither of male and female, or you're not even either that. You're beyond those genders. Now, I tried so hard to try to make this work, but the only thing I could find was that plants were non-binary. So I said, fuck it. I'd, make it work. Literally, I just said that. I'm quoting myself. I basically said, that's it, and, I went to work. So I made this character, I made a fox, and I know that it doesn't look like a fox, but it is a fox, so there. So that's it. Now, pansexual. This one was something that was easy to do, because dogs can, dogs will hump anything, so I said, okay, there you go. Dogs will hump anything, so this is the definition of pansexual. It is no limits in sexual choice with regard to biology, sex, gender, or gender identity. Basically, like, yo, whatever you look like, whatever gender you have, I love you. And I did a little research, and, well, I'll tell you the story. Let me explain the character first. So, This character is a dog because, well, dogs have no limit on who they love. They love everyone. Even if you hit them, they'll come back running with a big smile on their face. And it's wonderful to see. They trust you completely, and, well, it's sweet. Now, here's the story. Now, a long time ago, I was handed a website with basically, she's like, okay, do the test, and then it'll give you your sexual identity. And it was as a joke to see what your sexual identity was. And I did it, and I know that this is the thing that really bothers me. I don't want anyone to freak out like, well, you don't know what your whatever this is because you didn't actually, XYZ, but let me finish the story first so you understand. I get all over the place. Basically, I did the test, and I answered the questions, and at the very end, I got pansexual as my orientation. Which I thought was funny, because I was like, okay, what does it mean? And I searched it up, and I didn't search up the proper... I thought you could just type in pan, and when I got it, I laughed because I got pan. I didn't realize that you had to type in pansexual. I just typed in pan, so that's funny. But I didn't know. I didn't believe it at first. I was like, But then I read the definition of pansexual, like what pansexual people are, and, pansexual, like, how do you know? And it says, you will be the best friend of many, and people will know you for a very kind-hearted, you're very kind-hearted. And when they said you would be known as the best friend of many, like, you're friends of many people, I'm like, well, I don't really have friends per se, but then at that point I'd realized, oh, I do have friends. I am the best friends of many. It's just they never last. People have to move away, things happen, but then I had realized I actually may be pansexual. Now, I don't want to put a label on it because I don't feel comfortable with just labeling myself as, oh, I'm this gender, oh, I'm this gender, because I don't work like that. I don't ride my horse like that. Sorry, buddy, I don't skirt into the DMs like that. I'm usually on a chair, then I fall over, then I hit my nose, and I probably break it, but whatever. There's the phone, because, I'm so popular. No, it's not. My parents are running custody. No, it's not for me. Sad face. Anywho, but the best part of the story was not the test, was not anything like that. It was when I had told people about the story and about the test. I had a group of friends, and we had all gathered around, and I told them the story, and I said, well, the test thinks I'm pansexual. And this, I shite you not. They all paused. They all looked at each other. Like, all of them. There was like 4 people. They all looked at each other. And they went, and they nodded, and they went, yep, that's you. I'm like, what? What do you mean that's me? It could be me, but I mean, like, is it? And they're like, yeah, that's you. Like, because I didn't even, like, have sort of an identity at that point. I just sort of said, I don't know. I really didn't have a preference. And when my parents told me, I was like, I'm never gonna say no to free food! That's a bad joke, but it's a funny joke. For women. Maybe not men, but I would never say no to a free meal. Like, but I digress. I would never make a man pay for my meal, because I don't want someone having that sort of leverage over me. But seriously, though, it's just, it makes you think. And me being pansexual, I guess, is, well, it just sort of said that that's sort of my sexuality. And I had a problem with a specific person that I shan't not name, but a person thought I was a lesbian. And I was like, what? And this is the most messed up thing. I said, what gave you that idea? The reason they thought I was a lesbian was because I wouldn't date them. What? I'm sorry, but what? Like, that's because I wouldn't date them. They thought I was a lesbian, and I went, no, I'm pansexual, and they're like, what does that mean? And I'm like, well, I love everybody. You, him, the kitchen sink, everything. I really don't have a basically like, no, I don't want to put limitations on myself because I already have enough limitations in my life. I don't need that. So the next one is polysexual. Now explain why the dog, so you don't have to worry on pansexual, but I'm going to explain polysexual. Polysexual is an attraction to more than one gender, with no limitations on gender spectrum. Contrary to popular belief, this has nothing to do with poly something, I don't know. It says the marriage of multiple people, but I was informed that polysexual meant the marriage of multiple people. I don't know if that's the case. I have tried to figure out what this term means. I don't think... Oh yeah, it's on mute. Give me a minute. Incorporating many different kinds of sexualities, or pansexual, which wait, okay, yes, I understand what it is now. Basically, incorporating many different kinds of sexualities. Pansexual, which I do believe... Basically, I think this means that you incorporate lots of sexualities into one. Basically meaning that you have many different sexualities for the one person. I, however, believe that polyamorous, which polyamorous is the relationship of multiple people, I had found a definition, and I know this is bad, but I found the definition of polysexual as the sexuality to more than one person, which means you can be married to 2, 3, 5, 20 people. Now, if that is wrong, please correct me, and if it is wrong, deal with the image, because whatever, it could mean both. It could mean the same thing. It could mean polyamorous and bisexual, so boom, there you go. Now, the reason I chose a rabbit for this very specific, a rabbit or a bunny, they both do this. I do believe bunnies do it more, though. A bunny can have more than one mate at a time. Now, they do this for reproductive purposes, which means they can have 5 litters on the go. Not exactly 5, but they can have more than one litter on the go, which means that this one mother will have to take care of like many different litters with many different bunnies. Now, we have the next one. And I do believe this is the last one. The last one on our list is transgender. Now, a lot of people who I have met, and I have not gone along with, are transgender. Now, I don't know why, but transgender has been used as a... How do I say this? People use it a little too loosely, transgender. And some people believe that it's medically induced, being a transgender. Like, medically, you are transgender. And I like to think that that is more of the scientific case, such as you were still allowed to, dress and drag. However, being transgender is not something that you can use to make up for your lacking, your mistakes, or anything as such. I, not going to name who, had an incident with a person who liked to identify as transgender. However, they had no idea what it meant. And I was like, okay, what does it mean to be transgender? And he's like, well, I'm a man and I want to be a woman. I'm like, you're right, but you're also wrong. And the problem is he did it, but it wasn't in the right way. And I'm not going to name who. It's difficult. Sometimes I meet these people and they get all uppity in my face about their genders. And it just bothers me. It's not like, oh, you can't be that. Yeah, you burn. No, it's not like that. It's different. It's actually based a little bit on my sexuality. If it is my sexuality, I don't know. But the definition of transgender is transgender people who have a gender identity or gender expression that differs from their their sexuality assigned at birth. Basically meaning a guy can want to be a girl and a girl can want to be a guy. Some transgender people desire material necessities to to transition from one sex to another identity as transsexual. Basically, transgender. There's also transsexual, which I don't know what that word means. Transgender, often shortened as trans, is also an umbrella term. Umbrella term basically means that there's a lot of stuff under that umbrella. It's not just one, it means more than one, like intersexual, I think that's what it said. How you say it. Now, little thing on why the character looks the way she does. Or she, I don't know. But the reason I chose a fish, it doesn't look like a fish, but it is a fish. I chose a fish because fishes can change their genders. And I remembered this one episode of CSI, and it really warmed my heart. It was a guy who wanted to be a girl. And he got angry, and he said, "It's not my fault. I've been he medically couldn't have his gender changed. And they pick and choose who gets their gender changed, and he couldn't go through the testing." And he just felt horrible. And this scientist told him something that made my heart warm. He told him that there is a very specific kind of crab that could change their gender. Maybe one day in human history, somewhere in the deep, dark pasts of our time, we could do that too. It's not wrong for feeling like you want to change your gender. And I get it. It just sucks being something that you don't want to be. I look at it from a visual standpoint. I visually don't look pleasing. I wish I could be what I've drawn, but I can't. I'm ugly. I had to accept that fact a long time ago. It wasn't an easy fact to accept, but I had to accept it. Even though I hate being in the body I'm in. But with lots of support from friends and family, and one very specific friend in mind, you know who you are, I was able to accept that there are people who want me. I may not want me, but that doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. What I want doesn't matter. However, what she wants does. And if she wants me to be me, then I'll be the most me she's ever seen. She'll be sick of me. That's how much me I'll be. Anyways, about the tangent about the transgender. I feel as if people use this in a not good way, in that they they hurt the image of what transgender is. There is transgender, where basically they choose to be something else, but it also has a mix of intersex. I do believe that's what it's called. Intersexual. Intersex. I think that's what it's called. Can't pronounce it. If I'm not pronouncing it correctly, sorry. But basically it means it's basically someone who doesn't want to be that gender they are. And it really does sometimes come back to bite me in the rear end, because some people decide to be like women, decide to be men, and that's up to you, but I don't give two fucks. And to put it into, I don't give two nickels than a baby sale, I don't care. And the reason I don't is because I care more about who you are and not what you are. If your gender is female, okay. But how are you? Who are you? You like basketball? You like jazz? You like food? What type of food do you like? What country were you born in? What's your ethnic background? What's this? What's that? Gender just doesn't matter to me. And it's because I believe, because of my sexuality, that makes me think that. Because I don't give a two fucks. I don't care. You could be male, female, giraffe, attack helicopter for all I care. And I'm like, okay. So, want sushi? You want to get some Chinese food, maybe? I don't know. McDonald's, yeah. Subway? I don't know. I don't know what you want. But that's exactly why I get in so much trouble for it, because people are like, no, it's important. You must know my sexuality. And I'm like, then, okay, then don't get mad at me because I don't know what your sexuality is. I can't just assume, because that just makes an ass out of you and me. If I say something, it doesn't mean that you need to get all uppity on it, because I've had people lose their shit because I didn't call them that. And I had a person who actually changed their name, changed their identity. And I swear to God, it was the worst thing, because she, like, not she, because he wants to be known as he, or whatever they are, changed their identity, and they were on my ass about it. And I was like, dude, what the hell? I didn't know you changed from Tiffany to Matthew. That's not what they changed their name to. I'm just, examples. But I didn't know. And then they were a total. And I go throughout this entire thing, and I'm gonna say this. This is everyone can be called this. They were an asshole. Okay. Doesn't matter what gender you are, doesn't matter what identification you are, an asshole is legit, multi-gender. Doesn't care. If you're an asshole, you're an asshole. And this is my almost number one saying. You can't sugarcoat shit. You can say, oh, well, maybe they were going through some tough times, or, oh, maybe they were doing this, oh, maybe they were doing that. Okay, they're doing that, they're doing this. But why was I the target? And it was just exclusively me. I had a dress, alright? I had a dress, and I thought I was looking damn fine in it. I walked out, I looked at them, they looked at me, and the one person said, you look like a lampshade. And my confidence went from 100 to negative. I wanted to change. I felt so ashamed. But I had nothing else to change into, so I had to make do. And I felt like shit through the entire night. I kept trying to get reassurance from everyone, but no matter who I talked to, nobody was going to give me any compliments on my dress, so I said, screw it, I look like a lampshade. And I said this pun at the very end of the day, and I don't think she took any heart to it, and I said, well, duh, I look like a lampshade because I'm lit! Kill me. But seriously, though. Most people who are transgender, I have found that I have had beef with them. And that's not to say that I haven't had beef with other people. Trust me, I've had beef with pretty much a lot of people. A lot of people do things to irritate me, but I never tell them. So, anyways, this has gone on a rant, so let's just shorten it up. And basically go to the summary point. Each gender should be accepted. And we live in a world that people are kind of confused on what genders and people are teaching them too early and such. And there's a lot of, opinions going back and forth. And I'm sitting in the middle like, shut up, you're all wrong. Here's how I think it should be. Well, I think we'll take a little bit of your side, a little bit of your side, and a little bit of your side, and we'll throw it in a stew and mix it up. And you need to understand, people are being killed for their gender identity, so we should work on that first, but mix it into a stew, and then I have my idea. Gender identities should be something that should be someone's choice. If you teach it to children, then teach it to children. But if you're going to do it in a school, don't teach it as if it's something they can, as if it's something that's like something choosable, like what shirt you wear. Teach it as if it's a full-on identity. Not like a type of shirt, but it's something that you are, that you feel. And feelings change. So one day you could be transgender, and the next day you could be, not. You could be straight. But this is where it comes to play. It depends on what you're feeling. And throughout your life, your feelings are changeable. Like as a child. As a child, I was considerably straight. But as I grew older, I changed around. And I had understood that I shouldn't be. Because if I just love a specific kind, that's bad on me. But that changes. And a lot of people say, oh, we shouldn't teach sexualities to children in school. And I'm like, but we should, because it's important. We teach people about other religions in schools, so why not sexualities? And that's not even besides the point. If anything, we should be teaching different disabilities in school instead of sexualities. And I mean it. Because no matter, this is my saying, no matter what sexuality you are, no matter what race you are, no matter how old you are, everyone can have a disability. Everyone experience disabilities. And personally, what I think in our school is we should teach children what disabilities are. And we should teach children about bad people and good people. And not to say that there's such thing as a bad person or a good person, but we should teach them morally what choices are good and what choices are bad. To show that there are people in this world who will help you and there are people in this world who won't help you. And don't teach it in a sort of fear kind of sense. Teach it in a more of you're going to be missed kind of sense. If you ended your life, we would miss you. The school would miss you. Have that environment that pulls in those kids and say, we would miss you. But no, they would never do that because my ideas are stupid because I'm, autistic. But, I can say that because I'm actually autistic, so yeah. I guess you could say this is my coming out video, but I really don't feel like coming out of anything because that's work and I'd rather sit, hell. Why do work? It's just, And I really don't like to label myself as any gender or identity because I've already labeled enough, labeled a lot of things and I don't like half of them. But to put it into perspective, every gender should be accepted. Every race should be accepted. Everything should be accepted. Everyone should be loved. And that's how I look at the world. And there's a quote from someone who I kind of don't like. The quote is like this. Basically, the quote goes along the lines of, because I can't remember the quote goes along the lines of, you can't be friends with everybody. Because everybody doesn't want to be friends with you. Or because everybody has, basically the quote goes like this, you can't be friends with everybody. Because XYZ. And I said, no. And the teachers are like, what do you mean, no? This is in a book. This is logical. Because when stuff's in a book, it makes sense. So that's how they thought it is. And I would just kind of laugh because I said there is no psychiatrist ever who would say that. But whatever, I don't know anything because I'm just a student who went through years of psychiatry and knows a lot more than you heads probably do. But you know what? I'm going to let that pass go. But this is how the quote I think should be. You can be friends with everybody. You can. You can be friends with anybody. You should be friends with everybody. If they don't like you, that's their problems. But you can be friends with everyone. You can. There's no limitation. I'll probably find the quote in my phone because it's probably somewhere because, I have it somewhere. Here, let me find it. Give me a moment. So, couldn't find it, so that's a big problem, but it's somewhere. I've already said it though, and I really should be ending off this video because holy crap, it's been a while. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you're having a perfect day today. See you later, Kitten Crusaders. Bye! Okay. Ow, my chest! Ow! Oh god, I just got pain in my chest. Ow, 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 ow. Oh my god. Okay, can everyone hear me? Hopefully you guys can hear me, and this won't be long. Okay. 3, 2. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode. This is why am I saying? You know what? Scratch that. This is a Pride episode, not Pride episode, but a lesbian. Now, I'm not going in order. I shouldn't go in an order because I have this order. So let's start actually with because it's easier for me to do, and it starts with the letter A. So yeah, produces in an asexual manner, which means they choose to have no gender. Like, I do believe that's what it means. I'm not 100% sure. I'm going off of what I think this is. Asexual, I do believe, means that they choose not to have any sort of sexual preference at all, meaning that they choose not to really reproduce at all. Asexual is like kind of, I do believe. Let me search this up actually, because I'm gonna fuck this up if I don't. It's gonna be heavily edited this thing. So oh crap, is it still going? Okay, it's still going. I'm gonna pause it for a minute. Okay, so I'm back. I just had to get all the things set up so I'm not looking like a big freaking doofus. So, let us start off with the first one, asexual. I gotta take out my retainer, give me a minute. Yep, that's disgusting. Intersex is the exact same definition, so I'm going to give you the definition, and you can, and I'll explain why both of my characters fit into these definitions.